So in this video, I just want to talk about improving conversion rates. As you manage your campaigns, you're gonna have to really focus on improving those rates to obviously improve the overall performance of your campaigns and to make them profitable. So whether you're looking for leads, sales, even if you're just giving away something for free, a download, white paper or something like that, or you just want people to purchase, which is what a lot of businesses are looking for, or even leads and so forth. You need to improve that to be able to continue advertising effectively, because there is no point in advertising and not getting the results that you're looking for your business. And as I mentioned in another video, click-through rate is an important metric, but when we look at conversions, those tend to be really important metrics that all of us should focus on. It's metrics that you cannot avoid, and you really need to work on. The sad reality is many businesses advertise in Google Ads and they don't set up conversion tracking, and that's not great because you just won't know which ones of your ads, your keywords, search terms, or audiences and so forth are driving those conversions, even campaigns, ad groups, and so forth. So you need to set up some conversion tracking. I know sometimes it can be difficult, maybe because of how your website is set up, or maybe you don't have anybody to set up conversion tracking for you. Whatever it is, I recommend you set up for something. At least you should be tracking something to see whether people are engaged. And ideally, if they're submitting forms, even signing up for newsletters and so forth, all these things you can track. And you can have multiple conversions that you can track. For example, if you go to tools and settings and looking at this account, we can see the different conversions that are being tracked. Some of the tracking is coming from Google Analytics, and it just gives us a lot of information like contact form success, download an ebook, and so forth. Things that I tend to do well with. Even calls, you need to be able to track that and see where your calls are coming from, even on the website and from the ads and so forth. So many things that every business can track, and every business should be tracking something and doing it in Google Ads and in your reports. So like other metrics like impressions, clicks, click-through rate, and so forth, you can see your conversion metrics at different levels. So let me refresh that, then you'll see what I'm talking about. So you can see conversions for your, I'm at the campaign level, so I can see if I scroll across, it doesn't like that. Okay, if I scroll like that, I can see over a certain time period, October, I had 5 conversions for that one, 2 for that campaign, and so on and so forth. And I can see, calls that I was getting, phone calls, which are conversions as well, because I've got tracking for that. So you can see that the campaign level. And if we click on one campaign, we can also see calls based on the ad group. We can also see our conversions, if we have any, based on the actual campaign ad groups that we're looking at. And then we can even drill in and say, okay, let's look at this ad group and say, well, which of our keywords are driving conversions? So we can see it right here, and we can go in and say, okay, PPC freelancer and so forth, doing well, 3 conversions. And if we like that, that's great. But we can even drill even deeper and go into the actual search terms and see which search terms specifically drove those conversions, PPC freelancer, because your search terms is what people search with on Google, and your keyword is what you add into your campaign. So if those match, in some way, when you're using match types, they trigger your ad, and then you're able to come up in the auction results. So we can see this for all these different levels, and that's really powerful. and you can really drill in and improve your conversions based on that. So sometimes you may notice a campaign has got no conversions at all and it's not performing. Maybe you need to get rid of the whole campaign. But if you're getting a few conversions, but you're not sure which ads, keywords, searches, you can drill in and then see which ones need fixing and stuff. And you can also see for your ads which ones are actually driving conversions and so forth. Now, if I go back to campaigns, so conversion is one of those metrics that you need to set up so it doesn't just come up automatically. For sure, in Google Analytics 4, the new one, you can track some actions and events and so forth, but you would also still need to set up conversions. Now, if I click on columns, I can click modify columns, and then my conversion section, I can see the different metrics that I can track that relate to conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rate. These are the primary ones, and I recommend everyone should add. But you can also add other ones, all conversion rates if you've got many different ones, average order value, orders, this is e-commerce and so forth, which is great if that's a business that you're doing and you're tracking it in Google Analytics. So you can then have them right here. There, if you want, you can move them higher so you can see them easily and so forth. So how do we improve these conversions? The good thing is, you can improve them at different levels, as I mentioned. Um, I tend to really like looking at them at the search terms level, and I can go into the search terms because the search terms are key and they really show me what people are searching for. Now, if I find, for example, that a search term has had 100 clicks and has maybe a 1% conversion rate, depending on the industry, my industry personally in marketing, that's not too bad because that can be a very valuable lead, which can turn into thousands of pounds in a year, in 2 years, and so forth. So you need to look at the lifetime customer value as well. But at the same time, if you're selling a low value product and you get 1% conversion and you're spending a lot more than you're making from the product, maybe that's a candidate to be removed. Or you can drill into your reports and see how engaged your visitors are for some of those searches in Google Analytics. That's really up to you and how you look at it. But when I go into search terms, or even if I do it at the keyword level, I can then say, well, which search terms and which keywords are not converting and they're driving me a lot of traffic. I can then block it. Maybe you want to extend the time period and say, don't just look at the last month, especially if you're not getting a lot of traffic. Just go back some months and see how it's working for you and so forth. And if any are not great, all you can do if you don't like them, you just select them, something like that. Maybe I should go to the search terms report. Yes, that's where I want to be. So if I look and I don't like maybe that, just as an example, I can add as negative keyword. I can add it at the ad group level, campaign level, or to a negative keyword list, or just create one. And that blocks the search. And over time, if I keep doing this and refining, I then start to see my conversion rates go up. And that's what you want to aim for. You want to aim for a very good conversion rate. And it can be anything. Maybe you're aiming for 5%, but that ongoing management is going to be key. You're not just going to allow your searches to run and your ads and so forth to appear for searches that are not relevant. And this is the mistake that a lot of um, advertisers make. They never take time to really go into search terms report. If there is one report that you need to really focus on, is the search terms right here. And this is really going to show you how you are performing for things that people are actually looking for. Yes, you can look at keywords and so forth, that's fine. But people search in all kinds of ways, and the keyword is just one. For example, if we look in this campaign, I've got 368 keywords, and not even all of them get traffic. But look at my search terms, almost 10 times more. So one keyword will drive many searches, and that's how people are searching. And if I come in here, I can see which ones are performing and which ones are not. Now, another way to improve your conversions. Now, if you've been running ads for some time and you're thinking, well, I want to test out another bid strategy, an automated one, a conversion focused bid strategy, you could do that, and you could go to settings and start by looking at what bid strategy the campaign is working, is using, and then change it maybe to something else. What I would warn you though is changing bid strategy is a big change, and it tends to then go into learning mode. So just be aware of that if you're going to make a change. Now, I've got manual CPC, and I could say, well, I've done this for so long. Now I know what my average conversion is. I could change it and say, well, I don't want to pay more than £100. uh, I want to focus on conversions, and I don't want to pay more than £100 target cost per action. And then you can run it and see how it goes for you. If it's great, just continue running it and improving your campaigns and so forth. But what I recommend though is to create an experiment, especially for bid strategy, because that's a big change. Now, an experiment, especially if the campaign is working and you don't want to disturb it too much, but you still need to see if you can use a different bid strategy. You can go to all your campaigns and then say, let's run an experiment. And then we could go new experiment. We want a custom experiment for a search campaign. Continue, name the campaign, give it something memorable that will be easy for you to remember. Then choose your base campaign. So I could choose that one, and then just go through the stages. Very easy to set up. And then you can split your traffic between the two. And then in the new experiment campaign, you can then go into settings and change your bid strategy, like I showed you right there. So that's really something to test, and I recommend that because it will allow you to split your traffic and see how it's working. If you wanted as well, you could go into your search campaign and go settings and say, well, what other um, bid strategy can I focus on that will help me to improve my conversions? So here in this campaign, we've got maximize clicks, and I showed you we could change to a conversion one. Let me go to select a bid strategy actually. And then I could go, we looked at maximize conversions with the target cost per acquisition. If we want to focus on conversion value, sales, and so forth, we can go for that as well and set a target return on ad spend and say, well, for every pound or every dollar that I spend, I want to earn £5. So we could say, let's go for 500% um, return or something like that. Doesn't really like that very much, but that's something that you can do and see how it works for you. Again, you can create an experiment and not actually change this campaign and then see how it performs. So when you use some of these smart bidding strategies, conversion focused and revenue focused, they set the bids and they bid based on the context, which can many times be more efficient than you because you're not going to have all the time to be always on top of it and so forth. And it's also more effective many times. So it's really great that way. And you can test that. If you want, you could say, you know what, I want to get more impressions, clicks, which will lead to more conversions. So if you want to focus on more traffic, more conversions, you can go for a more aggressive bid strategy like target impression share, and then say, where do I want to appear in the ad location? So I could say absolute top of results page. I want to appear there 100% of the time, but I want to put a bid limit so that it doesn't really get crazy with my competitors, and then apply it. And generally, your ads are going to come up. I tend to find this one is very effective with that, and it's really great. So definitely worth trying. Test out these things, set up different experiments, and see how it works. Don't forget, you've also got your ads. If ads are really targeted, if they have got strong benefits in there, which line up with your landing pages, you're going to see conversions improve. You're going to see more calls, more contacts, more sales, and so forth. So, really make your ads effective, because that improves your click through rate, and more click through rate generally means more conversions. So, that's one other way to improve your ads. And a lot of businesses just set up ads, and they don't really focus on this. You need to look at the whole picture and not just focus on spending more and more, and so forth. Again, if you want to really drive more conversions, an easier way, which is obviously more expensive, is to increase your budget. So if you've been running your campaign for a while, let's go to all campaigns, and you realize that maybe your budget is limited, but your conversions are good and everything else, you can increase that. There's also a campaign bid simulator right there. If you look at the campaign budget simulator, for example, so if I click on that, it will tell me like, this is my current spend, £10 budget at the moment. But if I wanted to increase to 5 conversions from one, I could increase it to £199.31. Big jump, but still, it can help you in multiple ways. What To be honest, these are estimates. They tend to be good sometimes, but a lot of this really requires testing, and you won't really know until you test things and so forth. But use the campaign bid simulator and budget simulator and see how it works for you, and if it can really get you more conversions. And if not, you just revert back and go back to what you had before. Another way to really increase your conversions, maybe if you're not targeting all the keywords out there, you can go to tools and settings, go to keyword planner, and just search for more keywords. Are there keywords that you're not targeting? And the keyword planner tool will help you with that. So you could say, giving me suggestions there, I could say leather boots. If I have these in stock and I'm not promoting them as much, or I want to look for more searches based on a specific location, like their language and so forth, and it will just give me an insight into average monthly searches. It won't really You can also see conversion data if you wanted. So I could say, all right, these keywords look good. The average cost per click I like in the top and the absolute top of page sections. So I could say, I want to try out these keywords. And then I could add keywords to create plan. And then I could go, all right, that's great. I can go to forecast, and then right here, based on those keywords I've added, it tells me your plan can get you 113 conversions for £3,100 budget with a £99 average daily budget, something like that. So that's great. That's based on a 1.24% conversion rate. Bit conservative, which is good. But if you change it, for example, and you say 3%, let's see what it gives us. Big jump, but you will notice conversions will go up. So this tool just gives you a rough estimate based on the keywords that you've chosen. And it's really great. I like it, and it works out well, especially when you're looking at some of these very important metrics. Because Google has the historic data, not necessarily that you're gonna get the same, but it's a good idea to really test it and see what you're likely to get. So that's really something that you can test for yourself, and add more keywords and maybe increase your budgets as long as your targeting is good, and to increase conversions. Additionally, if you're running specific type of campaigns, for example, you're running search or display, you could say to yourself, well, we are an e-commerce business, so we want to get more conversions. We could run a shopping campaign, and set up shopping ads, create a feed and everything like that, and then increase your budgets for that. Shopping is great. All the campaign types are great. It just depends on what you want to do. And then you can try out the different campaigns. So you could go create new campaign and then focus on sales and then click continue. And then it gives you the different campaigns for sales that you can run. And sometimes you may not actually be running all of them. So you could test some of them. Performance Max has come in, so you could test that. It's working well for some businesses, and that could help you increase your conversions. So really different ways to do this. It just really depends on what you want to achieve. But increasing conversions is important. It helps you continuously become profitable and perform better in Google Ads.